Hi guys, welcome to this session in Microsoft Project. In this module, I want to talk to you about how the priority setting works. So I'm going to create a couple of tasks, task A, task B. I'll do 3 tasks so you can see how it works. Task C. Now when you create a task, a new task, I'll just put these to 1 day. The default priority, as you can see there, I've inserted the priority column, is 500. Now if you double click onto a task, you normally would just see it sitting in here, 500, that's the default. If you want to work with priorities, you can do that. Insert the column, clicking OK. Now if I go onto the project tab and into project information, you can see that the default setting is set there, priority 500. That's where this is coming from. So basically this will run from 1 to 1,000, and 1,000 being more important than a task that's got a priority of 1. Now I don't suggest for 1 minute that you start going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in terms of putting priority on tasks. Normally I would tell my students to go, if you've got admin tasks, you could put them to 400 and an engineering task, for example, to 600. That would give them a bit more of a priority if there was a resource clash and you wanted resource leveling to fix that issue. So that's what it is. If I click OK to that, I'm just going to change this task to a priority of 600. So in terms of resource leveling, that now makes that task more important. You can obviously sort by priority if you wanted to. You don't need to. If I just go like that, that's going to sort that. It's now messed up the task order, so I'm just going to undo that. It's not necessarily a feature I would use that for. But if I now allocate people to these tasks, I'll allocate the same person, which is going to make these tasks over allocated, or the resource over allocated. Now again, it's not recommended to start typing resource names here, because you can do typos and you end up creating 2 bobs. But if I go into the resource sheet, whatever you do type there, it just brings it through onto this resource sheet anyhow. Go back to the Gantt chart. And so I'm just doing this for speed, if you like. Just type Bob 3 times there, which makes him over allocated. You can see the indicator column there showing in red. Now if I go to the resource tab, one way of fixing this would be to level everything. Now what's going to happen when I do that, it will not move that task. In fact, what I'll do is I'll put that first to 500, back to 500, and see what happens when you do leveling now. If I go level all, so it's just moved them like that. So this top task stayed as it was, and then the bottom 2 have moved across, sorted it out. If I clear leveling, just bring that back, clear leveling, OK. Put that one to 600. Now what's going to happen is that one will not move. If I go level all, you see the other 2 have now moved. Still resolved it, but because that's got a higher priority, that one has stayed where it was and the other 2's moved. So that's basically how you can use priority to force things to move or not move. If I go into leveling options, you've got down the bottom there this sort of order. You've got default is standard, so standard, and then you've got ID only, which will just be the 1, 2, 3 number, and then you've got force priorities to come first. Priorities actually sits inside standard, so it's looking at links, availability, the priority and things like that. Standard is, but this is just forcing the priority part of the standard to go first. It's a standard group of criteria that it looks at, so that's just forcing that. But default is set onto standard. We'll just click OK to that, so I'll just change that. Hasn't had an effect on anything I've done there. If you want to clear leveling, you can do, but that's all I want to talk about in this little video, how you can use the priority feature to force tasks to move against other tasks. So thank you for your time. I'll catch you in the next one.